Welcome to the I Want More podcast, the space where creatives, entrepreneurs, and freedom seekers spill the secrets to breaking through internal blocks and building a bold, limitless life. I'm your host, Miss Kris, here to stir the pot, spark your intuition, and help you stop sucking at being like everyone else. Today's episode, Failure is the Illusion, Staying Stuck is the Real Risk. We're talking with Kristina about her Business 9 and how she is succeeding by writing her own rulebook.
We are talking with Kristina. Tell me about your salon.
My salon is called 9, and I try to make it a safe place for everybody, including myself. It's a little oasis where I can focus on conversations that are one-on-one with people while I do their hair. The goal is to create a sense of well-being from within. I want people to realize that their physical bodies change. We age. We won't always look how the trends in magazines, social media expect us to look. And to make everybody feel like they're being the best person that they can be inside and out.
I think that's what attracted me to you. I love it. Oh my God. When you were like intuitive hair salon, I'm like, hell yes.
Yeah. And that's what it's about. It's about sometimes people come in and we laugh hysterically because that's what they need. Sometimes we cry together. We go through hard things together. Sometimes we just sit quietly, and the goal is that they leave feeling like they've been seen and heard as people, unique individual people.
Yeah.
While
going through whatever they paid for from you.
Yeah.
Because you don't just do hair.
I don't. I'm also training to become a shaman. That has been a unique journey. Yeah, that's been unique.
Well, that might have been why it attracted me to you too, because I was practicing shamanism in a different way.
Yeah.
Like different teachers and we've had some really deep conversations, kind of going into the astral realm and timeline jumping.
I think I'm still nervous about telling people what I am. And so every time I do it, it's like I say it and then I take a deep breath and hold it in, wondering, am I going to be safe? Because right now the world feels very unsafe for people who are different.
But I think the more that we put ourselves out there, it's not
as scary. And I've also discovered that by walking through my fear of this, of being different, of being made fun of, because I've been sensitive my whole life. By sharing, I create a space where other people can realize that they're not so different. There's many of us.
Yeah.
And that's freedom.
Yeah. When I walked in here, it felt like wholeness. Like I felt whole. And I don't know if it's because you've walked yourself back to feeling whole within yourself. I felt that when I walked in. Oh. Like I felt so at peace.
Oh, that makes me happy.
Good. Because it made me happy being here, and I have not stopped coming.
Yeah.
Like I don't care what your prices are. I'm coming to see you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, and that kind of brings us to where we're moving now. Like this is your studio now, but we're moving.
Yeah, we're moving.
You're actually following your dream.
Yes. Yes. And I have expressed the fear involved. What I've noticed watching other business owners is people don't really talk about the fear involved. And so it kind of
struggle.
Yeah, it hit me really hard because I thought this move would just be easy.
Like all the other entrepreneurs, they make it look so easy.
Yes.
But they don't talk about the struggle
They
and the
don't.
fear and the pain and the extra money that goes into it, or something broke, or like now I have this other hurdle, but I'm still following my dream.
Yeah, yeah. And so what I've done is I had been wishing and hoping and manifesting a new place where I can be an artist, have a place for an art studio, have a space big enough to do classes on a variety of things, and just kind of be what I want to be. And it came about, and I'm so blessed that it has come about. But in that, I have come to realize that this is really a hard change for me. And I've talked to some friends and people who support me. And what I come to realize was when I created this space here, it was to create a safe space for myself.
And it like, I love it. Every time I come here, it's different. You have been creative with it. And like, it even has gone with the seasons or the moods, or even in the fall when we were talking about how we were going within, and it just felt like a quiet space.
Yeah.
It was quiet and beautiful and lovely at the time. And now here we are. We've planted the seeds. We're blossoming. And both you and I are like getting out there, and we're like, this is scary.
This is scary because we're uprooting what has made us feel safe.
Yeah.
And we're trusting that where we're going is going to be even better.
Yeah.
And that takes a lot of faith. And it takes a lot of strength to say to people that you trust, I'm really afraid.
Yeah.
Like my sink just broke, or I found out this is happening, or I got news from a contractor, that there's this new expense.
Yeah.
Things we don't plan on.
Yeah.
And
we're standing here with fear and courage.
And we're
like, okay, I've just got to be here with both and feel it both.
Yeah.
And keep going.
Keep going. Because so many times I've wanted to be like, okay, I'm done. I want out. I don't want to do this anymore. I'll just stay here. Yeah.
Well, because so you're moving to a place where you don't just have the hair salon downstairs. You actually have an art studio.
I have a loft with an art studio,
and you are doing construction right now to get it all ready.
Right.
And there have been people here in the area. I mean, this town is not that big, but there have been people up here that are like, "Oh, I'm not going to drive down there."
Yeah.
And you know that you're losing some clientele.
Yes.
And that fear of like, are other people going to come?
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
Like, not only the construction side, I'm losing some of my clientele. I'm following my dream. Am I doing the right thing?
Right.
Yeah.
That is the truth. And everybody who walks in here, I consider them a friend. I welcome them in as if I would welcome a friend into my home. And part of being a stylist is knowing that some people come, some people leave, and you have to be okay with that. But it is sad to know that some people you won't maybe see again. Maybe you will, but maybe you won't. And then putting faith that more people will come. It's just about keep going. Keep having the faith that you're doing the right thing. And ultimately, if it's right for me, it'll attract other people who align with that.
Yes, girl.
But that's scary because we're taught that conform to what everything else wants us to be. and not to do that.
That's what has kept me off of line. Like, I have done business cards, I've done magazine things, I have gotten really into digital art, social medias, I've made digital products, and I have kept myself quiet for 10 years because of fear of getting out there and being seen as the way that I am. Like, I'm quirky and like, my kid calls me cringy.
But you're adorable.
Well, and I think you are too. But you get out there and like, there's going to be all these people who eventually will see you for who you are and love you for who you are. It's just staying true to yourself. Like, during that period of nobody's here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and the other thing is when we put ourselves out there, any of us, there are people who will have their opinions and they have good and negative things to say. And we have to be able to stand firm in who we are.
Yeah.
We know who we are. We know the energy we carry. We know what we're manifesting. And we have to be strong in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so my social media is way different than my salon. Normally a salon would be, because I share more of stories, my journey, things that I'm coming to awareness of. And traditionally salons post pictures and products and stuff like that. But
we're going on a journey, and you're allowing us to go on a journey with you as well. Like, oh, she feels that way too. Like, I feel safe in this space. Like, you're creating that for us to come to wherever you're at. That base of like, I wanted to create a safe space is there. Yeah. Like, first it was for you, and now it's expanded to this like beautiful pot of people.
Yeah. And there's such beautiful people from all walks of life. And that's what I enjoy. I want people to be able to come in pajamas, in business clothes, however,
that makes me feel good.
Yeah.
I'm going to be having surgery.
Oh.
And so my next appointment, I'm going to
come in pajamas.
I'll come in pajamas.
Yeah. And that's something that I learned from Louis Davenport, and I shared that on my Instagram, was here he created such a beautiful hotel in downtown Spokane, and he had billboards around town for anybody to come in because he knew people were traveling and they needed rest. He didn't care if they were dusty and dirty and worn out and tired. He just welcomed everybody. I want to see more of that. I don't want people to feel like they have to dress up to come see me. That's not what I care about. I care about what your heart is saying, where you're at. How can I lift you and support you? And when I do that, I find that it comes back my way tenfold, which is beautiful. I never expected that. And so it's a chain of people just supporting each other. That's what this is.
I love it. It makes my heart so happy.
Thanks.
Well, and it's made me really happy too to see your posts about the area that you're in, that you bought, and you're actually using some of the woman culture, the like it's right next to the railroad.
Yes.
And you're using, like, you want to talk about that?
Oh, yeah. So when I walked into this space, I realized that one whole wall of the building is the bridge for the railroad. And I instantly wanted to celebrate that history of Spokane. I love history. And as I started to do research about that whole time when the Great Northern was coming through, I came across a picture of women during World War II working on a locomotive for that railway line. And it made me realize that women have been doing physical, demanding jobs forever. We are amazing creatures, and we are underestimated in what we're capable of. And so I want to bring in pictures and history of women doing the things we've always done. The idea that we just were at home baking bread, taking care of the kids.
Yeah.
Yes, there's that part of who we are, but that's not all we are.
Yeah, and I had no idea when you told me this. I had no idea there were women working on the railroad, and even here in Spokane.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure the workforce was limited, and some of these women were like, let's get up and do this.
They were, yeah. Especially during World War II, a lot of the men were gone. And yet everything had to continue. Everything had to continue. Yeah. And so we stepped up in many aspects. And that picture is blown up. It's going to be in my lobby. And I want people to realize that we're capable. We're capable and we're strong.
Yeah. I love this new energy of like standing in our power and also bringing in the history and the power of other women. Like it's unfathomable. Like I can't even express in words like the joy that I feel when you told me about it. I was like, yeah, that's it. That's the energy. That's what we're bringing to 2025.
Yes. And here's the thing. I do have male clients.
Oh, yeah.
And I celebrate them. I do. But I feel like right now women need to be reminded of what they're capable of. And that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, well, and I think a lot of us are sitting in fear. Like, we are really putting ourselves out there. We are really talking in political spaces. And we still have that fear of, are they going to listen to me? Am I going to be seen and heard? And am I just going to fail at this?
Right.
And we're all kind of feeling that. We're all pushing past our limits and feeling that like pullback of like, oh, I'm going to fail, so I'm just going to stop. And this is not the time to stop.
It's not the time to stop because the younger generations are watching and it carries through. As I look at these old photographs of these women who inspire me, I realize that somebody will look at photographs of us and I want to be an inspiration to them. I want them to get the grit and the strength and the courage to keep walking.
Yep.
And it's not ever going to be easy, but it's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. And we're standing here, two pillars pushing through.
Yeah. And, somebody reminded me yesterday that there are amazing men out there who are supporting us. And so I don't want to forget them.
Oh, let's talk about your husband and what he's doing.
Yeah.
Like, he's doing some of the construction and helping you with ordering and the financial side of things as well.
Yeah. So my husband, I've written about our relationship throughout my social media and stuff. And we're in a place right now that feels good. And he has really stepped up and asked me, how can I support you? And sometimes that's looked like, I need to freak out for a minute and cry. Can you just let me do that? And he's like, okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes, most of the time, it's like, I need to get the glue off the floor. Can we do that? And he's like, he's been scraping glue off the floor, but he has been very supportive. And it reminds me of all the men out there who support strong women, who don't force their partners to be meek and quiet. I've been around men who were like that. And the women were never genuinely happy. And I had been in a relationship like that, and I was never happy. But I'm happy to say that now I have that support. I have that rock next to me, holding me up, saying, you got this.
Yeah.
And I want my daughter to look at that relationship and find that for herself and not just settle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because women have been told to settle way too often.
Yeah.
And we don't have to.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
And having those supportive people behind us is what pushes you through sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think entrepreneurs talk about that either, is there are a select few that understand, they're here supporting me and help me push through. Like, you might just have like 3 to 5 people. Like, it's not a huge group.
No.
Not a lot of people understand what it takes to start a business, push a business, expand a business. But, you know, you have a select few that'll be here and support you.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the other part about this move. When I created this place, I had a credit card of $6,000. And I was in such a desperate state to find a safe place. That's what I used to start this. Everything I've done here, I have paid as I made money. And
Because you said you didn't want to be in debt.
I didn't want to be in debt to anybody to where they could take it from me. Okay. I really needed my own stability. And so moving into this new place, I wanted to show people that it's possible to create your dream without going into hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of debt. You don't have to have the best of the best of the best of the best. You can get what you need, improve as you go, as you make the money. And sure, business-wise, it's great to get a credit build up, you know, for your business. That's great. But at the end of the day, nobody can take it from me.
Right.
It's mine. And I'm sharing that in my social media about, I have this very limited fund. How can I make my safe place again bigger and better?
Well, and I like that the community is out there. If we have something that we can give you, we're out there to help you.
I really just need support right now. Like a high five or keep going. Keep going. Because it is stressful. Yeah, it is stressful. And I do have sleepless nights. I do cry. I am talking myself out of panic attacks as a client walks in, because it's a lot that I'm carrying right now. And I think anybody who owns a business needs validation in that. And so I'm here to say, I get it now. I get this stress, and I respect and honor you for what they're doing, because it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah, but it is beautiful. I'm very excited.
Thanks.
So I have an appointment at the end of the month, and then I go in for surgery. And when I come back, you're going to be at the new place.
Yes.
I think.
Yes.
So what is that? April?
My first day in the new place is May 3rd.
Oh, okay. So I might be able to come here 2 more times before.
Yeah. Yeah. I did that so I could have a little bit more time getting the place ready, because things have come up.
Well, we can do Cinco de Mayo. What a great time.
Yes.
It's like a great celebration, like almost like May Day, and all of the into springtime and like this beautiful like burning fire. You've gone from planting these seeds and being we were talking that one time about like, we're just gonna sit here and sleep all day long.
Yes.
It was the dead of winter and we were like doing nothing. And now here you are.
Right.
Building the flame.
Yeah.
Bringing in the people.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of mind blowing what's happening. It's a lot. But I'm going to keep going.
Good.
I'm going to keep going past my fear.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I am too.
Yes.
And I realized when you said that, you know, you can do small little things, like I'm in the digital space and they sell you on these like huge products. Like I have courses and things that I sell that I could put on websites that are like, I could be paying hundreds, $200, $300, $400 a month and not have any clients coming in.
Yeah.
Right. I'm putting all my money into marketing and nothing's coming back.
Yeah.
So me starting small, like I've been doing the same thing, like little at a time, and I'll be able to build and maybe switch to different websites later on. So it's just small right now.
Yeah.
And that's okay to start out small and build it and not go into financial debt just because you have this huge dream.
Right. And I think by doing it that way, you get people who align with you more. Okay. I've had lots of marketing people want to share my posts, my content, stuff like that.
Because it's good.
Well,
they're like, ooh, it's raw and deep, and you could get
I don't want to do that, because I feel like the message goes where it needs to go.
Yep.
I want to be organic. It's not to say that those things aren't viable and great for some people, but for me, I really believe energy takes you where you need to go. And so I encourage you and other people, go small first, because this is a long journey.
Well, and especially if it's a dream.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're building over, 2, 5, 10 years, you are going to be jumping to the other websites when you need them. You are going to be getting those other things when you need them, right? Like you're jumping to a bigger space because you need it.
Yeah, I do need it. And here's the other thing is always be flexible. Be so flexible. And that's part of when you start small, you're able to bend and move and weave through things that come up. Whereas sometimes I think when people just go in all the way in the very beginning, they get trapped in, well, this is how it is. I've already invested all of my money. I've already invested. And so the ability to shift when it needs to shift is harder.
And when you invest everything all at once and it doesn't come back the way that you thought it would, that failure like can ruin your dream.
Forever. Yeah. I've seen other business owners who have done that and it didn't work and they lost everything. And there has to be a practicality to it. We have a long time here on this planet in human years.
Yeah.
And how can we sustainably do that? It's like when you go into a forest, which I love going into nature, if you need something like a raft, you don't cut down the whole forest. You cut down only what you need because you might need some more later for something else. So you're doing amazing.
Yeah, and you're letting those other trees grow, and they grow over decades. It takes time.
Yeah, it does. It absolutely does.
And then what we were saying before about, how the past generations help us, those trees, I mean, you probably know.
But tell me anyway.
but the trees have root systems that reach out even to the little like newbies, the little... And they give them nutrients. They give them like what they need so they can continue to grow, because I'm so big right now that you're actually not getting enough sunlight.
Yes.
And they give them the nutrients to grow.
Yes.
And they communicate with everybody else underneath.
Yes.
Like, so it really does. We all affect each other. And it gives us the courage to continue on.
Yes. And something that I've learned about the forest too, and these are the trees that I love the most when I'm in nature, is the big trees that are dead and they're white. Those trees, when they knew they were dying, they took all of their energy and nutrients and they took it down to their roots and they shared it with everybody. The big ones, the small ones, everybody.
I had no idea.
Yeah. And so what you're seeing is a selfless being who gave everything to the things it loved. Those are my favorite.
Oh, mine too. I love it.
So yeah, we're all feeding each other.
Yeah.
We're all feeding each other, and we're all supporting each other.
Yeah.
And even when we disagree, that's a good thing, because without that, we wouldn't know where, oh wait, maybe I need to think about this differently.
Yeah.
So
You're doing so good. I love it so much.
thanks. I so appreciate
I want you to
you.
keep going.
You keep going too. We'll keep going together.
That's a wrap for today's episode. I want more. If you loved this conversation, don't keep it to yourself. Subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Want more? Connect with me on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Wild Miss Kris. For extra sass, behind the scenes magic, and all the rebellious truth you can handle. Until next time, keep chasing more, claiming more, and being more you.